All right, good evening, everybody. I am Stephanie Rink, the chair for the Pullman Police Advisory Committee. Today is Monday, June 14th. Thank you, everyone, for attending. I already have roll call already done, so we are good. The approval of the minutes, did everybody review the minutes of the last meeting? Any comments, questions, concerns? Or do we have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Would you please speak into the microphone and make sure you unmute your microphone?
I move that we accept the minutes.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes are passed. All right, next order of our business, we have a new member application, Carol Numbunky, if I pronounced that correctly. If not, please let me know. Would you please come to the podium and introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you and why you are interested in the committee?
Hi, Phyllis. And precisely saying hi to Phyllis because I know her through my work. I work for my husband who owns Robbville Adult Family Home. So I actually was interested in being a business community representative for the committee in that regard. So I met Phyllis that way. So it's just nice to see you. My husband is Kenyan, and so I came to sort of activism, I guess, or just activity, community activity, because he's the business owner. I'm a teacher, and I generally like to be behind the scenes and work to contribute to efforts behind the scenes. But my daughter, Ivy, is a senior at WSU in political science, and she has sort of prodded me, encouraged me to get involved, and so that is why I'm here. I've also realized that through my daughter's activism with organizing marches and that kind of thing, she has met the chief and she has worked closely with the Pan-Hellenic group on the campus and those kinds of things. And so she has been involved in trying to bring communities together, the university community and the city community together. So she's exhausted now, at this time, and that's part of why I got involved, is to sort of I'm inspired by her. But because I'm a mom of 5 Kenyan-born children, I also have experienced vicariously, again, behind the scenes, some misunderstandings with different representatives in the community. And I realized that perhaps because of that unique position, I might be able to be, as nerve-wracking as it is for me, as scary as it is for me, I might be able to be some kind of a bridge, some kind of someone who can share perspective about what it's like to be a minority business owner in Whitman County, what it was like to own an adult family home during the pandemic, what it's like to realize that if we don't reach out and care for one another and are not careful about how we might affect one another, we can actually permanently harm someone. So that's sort of my perspective and my business background, and I'm an educator. I teach teach migrant education for adult learners getting their GED, so I speak Spanish fluently, and I also feel like that's a different perspective that I could perhaps bring. So that's sort of who I am and who has inspired and motivated me, and I'm really honored to at least introduce myself today. That's all.
Thank you, Carol. Do any of our members have any questions for Carol?
No.
So, Carol, what's going to happen is we're going to ask you to step out in the hall.
Sure, of
we're going to
course.
stop recording, and we're going to discuss your application and everything, and then we will ask you back in just a moment. So don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Carol, congratulations. Welcome to our wonderful committee. We are very excited to have you with us. All right, next up on our business, our community contact survey. Dr. Macon, were you going to discuss this?
Yes, so my understanding is that we formed a subcommittee. Is that accurate?
Yes, so the subcommittee is Adam, Craig, Megan, myself, and you.
So yeah, I mean, right now, Megan is currently away. She's working on a project, so her fellowship only runs for 9 months. And so she's no longer on her fellowship, so she's not obligated and in no way should be working, as she's unpaid, though she is working for the city on a separate project. So she will be back when the semester resumes, and so we'll be able to build the survey then. And then we're working to get an estimate, or I should say I am working to get an estimate since Megan is not on contract. Actually, I'm not either, but that's okay. She's a grad student, I'm not, so it's fine. To get an estimate so that we can take that to Chief Jenkins to then take that to the city manager, my understanding, for approval to move forward.
And the subcommittee, can you give a little reference of what the subcommittee will be doing?
Writing the survey. So we have put together examples of surveys and questions that could be asked. And so the role of the subcommittee would be to create the survey that we would then deploy in police contacts. And then we have to decide also what types of police contacts we would be targeting. So would they be traffic stops? And these are things we talked about before. But that would be the purpose of that subcommittee.
Great. And you will let us know when we're going to be starting to meet for that subcommittee?
Correct. It would be when the semester resumes.
Okay, great. Right, so the third item is our Pullman PD Citizens Academy. So that is ongoing. We are working on that. We are starting the test run this summer. And we would like to open it to anyone on the committee who is interested in coming and watching the presentations from the department staff. Not just department staff, but we also have the prosecutor and WITCOM that are also part of this. And it is going to be, the dates are July 12th, 15th, 20th, 21st, and 26th, running from 6:30 to 9 p.m. It would be great if you can do all of them, but if you can't do all of them, if you could sign up for a couple of them. We are going to test run all the presentations, and this is a chance for all of the staff and officers to present their material to us, to get comfortable presenting in this type of format, but also for us to give good constructive feedback on their presentations and decide if we need to adjust anything, change anything, edit, and look at that. So that will be running this July. If anyone is interested, we would be very happy for you to join us with this. We are going to scale back a little bit, so it won't be, the program runs 10 weeks, but this is going to be scaled back just to look at the presentations and listen to everybody and give some good feedback on what their content is. For example, if they're teaching way over our heads, for example, and we need to bring it back down because we don't need to know all the weeds, but it should be fun, it should be great, really good engagement, and a chance for us to really be involved and listen to the presentations and give some good feedback and help them present to us. Is anyone interested?
I am interested. I would like to participate in that.
I'm interested too. One question I would have is how, if those of us who are interested, how would we sign up, or just tell Darby we're interested, or what?
So we are working on a registration form, and so we do have that form. And then so if anyone's interested, if you want to, well, Darby's out this week. She's out all week. But if you want to send me an email and let me know, then I'll send you that registration form. And we'll go from there. The program is, like I said, program's going to be scaled back, so there's some things in the program that's going to be the full 10 weeks that we are not going to be doing in the test run. The test run is primarily just the presentations, just to get ready for our fall rollout of the entire program. But if you want to send me an email, then we'll send that out to you and get you all signed up.
Can you say the dates again?
July 12th, July 15th, July 20th, July 21st, and July 26th, running 6:30 to 9 p.m. No, it's in person here, correct?
Is it possible for you to send out an email with that information to the group?
Yes.
And then we could just reply if we're able to?
Yeah, I will send that to Chief, and then he can send that out for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions on the summer program? Any questions on the fall program that we're going to go live?
Quick question. The 12th, isn't the 12th our next meeting?
It is.
So there's a slight conflict there unless we just make it a short meeting.
It is going to replace our meeting, actually.
Okay.
So everyone's scheduled for the 12th, so you all can come to that first grouping. I did that on purpose. All right, if there are no other questions about any of it, we will move to Chief Jenkins with our police department update.
All right. So staff-wise, we still have 29 sworn positions filled, but we have 33 approved positions. So we have 4 vacancies. We did lose someone recently who relocated with his wife to another part of the state. We're still working on a previous list that we had done interviews a couple of months ago, and we just lost someone in background. So we just have actually one person left on that from that recruitment, and we're working on their background. We just did interviews last week for a new round of police officers, and I just got notified that I think out of the 10, 4 passed the interviews. So those 4 will be seeing me for a chief's interview, and then those that pass the chief's interview will go on to background investigation. And we are doing a continuous recruitment right now because we would definitely need to have some more interviews to get enough applicants to fill our vacancies. So we will probably have another round of interviews in a couple of months. We also recently lost our record specialist who her husband got a job on the other side of the state, so they're moving. So we just received approval from the Civil Service Commission to conduct a recruitment for a record specialist, which goes through July 26th, I think, something like that. Does that sound right, Nathan? And then we'll be having some interviews for those applicants and then chief's interviews after that to fill that position. We have enough overlap in our records staffing that we can adjust the schedules to not have to have people work a lot of overtime to fill that vacancy. But some of the other work then doesn't get done as quickly, but we have enough staffing just to cover the front desk anyway. Just a reminder about the workplace harassment training. If you're still having trouble getting access to that, go ahead, even though Darby's gone this week, send her a note, an email, and then when she gets back, she can get together with you to make sure that you've taken care of that. Because at some point, will be asked whether everyone on the committee has done that training, so you need to make sure to do it. So the new workplace rules in Pullman, we're following the state guidelines from Department of Labor and Industries, as well as Department of Health, which is those who are vaccinated do not have to wear a mask or social distance, and those who are not vaccinated do have to wear a mask and social distance. So those are the rules we're following here as well. The Last I heard, the state was at 64% vaccinated, and I think we're supposed to get to 70 before the governor will will, quote, reopen the state, which the anticipated date for that is June 30th. What reopening means is that there'll still be mask requirements, which are similar to what the workplace requirements are for the vaccinated and unvaccinated. There was a lot of new police-related legislation passed by the state of Washington this year. We're still looking through all of the details of that, and the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs has been very helpful in helping guide that for agencies across the state. So we'll be looking at making changes to our policies and procedures and training. Most of it is around the area of use of force. So I'll give you some more updates as we move forward on that. We submitted a grant to Department of Justice for what's called a Law Enforcement Mental Health and Wellness Grant. Dr. Macon and Megan Parks did most of the work putting that together. It's a joint grant between the city of Pullman, Pullman Police Department, Moscow Police Department, and WSU Police Department. And it involves a peer support program for all law enforcement staff. And it's a competitive grant. Only so many grants will be awarded throughout the nation. We think our grant is very competitive since it involves more than one agency and more than one state. And it's joint resources. So I'm pretty optimistic, and plus Dr. Macon's pretty good at writing grants, so we have a lot going for us. And that it funds $125,000 over a 2-year period, which that money will be spent on training peer support staff, internal peer support staff, a peer support psychological consultant, and also research on the program. The Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs has 2 conferences a year, and we've been holding those virtually up until this past spring conference, which was the week of May 24th. We held an in-person conference in Kennewick, so I attended that for 4 days. And the last thing I have is, some of you may have heard that I've announced I'm going to retire before the end of the year. I had actually had it on my mind for some time. One thing I did not want to do was leave the department when we were in the middle of trying to get through some really challenging times. And as you all probably know, the last few years have been some really challenging times. So we seem to be, I think we're at a really good spot right now. We have to get through this legislative issue by July. That's when most of the legislation goes into effect. So we'll get all that done. The mayor and city administrator indicated they're going to conduct a nationwide search for a replacement. I committed to staying until they were ready for me to go. And it sounds like they want me to stay till they have a replacement in place. So probably September, October is kind of the timeline we're looking at right now. I really have a lot of mixed feelings about it. I really enjoy what I do. I enjoy working with the committee and organizations throughout the community and the community members and community organizations. And my staff has been great. So it's one of those things where the saying that if you enjoy what you work, you don't work a day in your life, something like that. So that's what it's been like for me. But I think it's a good time for a change, and change is good for organizations. I'm sure that the mayor and city administrator will select someone to continue Pullman on a forward path, and I'll be a part of that process as well. So that's all I have.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your service here. Appreciate it.
You will be very much missed, Gary. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns over the last topic, perhaps, from Chief?
So I have a question about the College Hill beat officer. So is there an assigned officer already
We don't. We have, when we fill that position, the person that had the position previously has the option to stay in that position if they wish, and if I want them to. Officer St. Andre said a year was enough for him, so he's going to go back to patrol. So we have a email out to staff asking for people who are interested in that position to let us know, and then Commander Opgenorth and I will interview those who are interested and select someone.
Okay. Oh, and certainly, you know, it's been an honor to be able to work with you. So, thank
And
you.
you as well. Thanks.
One question I had for the committee, does the committee have any role in giving input on the new chief?
That is a great question that I asked Chief right before this meeting.
Yeah, so, and I told Stephanie that I've been talking with City Administrator Urban about there's going to be more than one panel. There'll be a number of panels. And next time I talk with him about that topic, I will let him know that I think that the Police Advisory Committee does need to be represented.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no other questions or comments, we'll move on to our constituencies poll. If we just want to start over there with Isabella.
Nothing to report besides graduation. What was the success be, even with COVID?
Yeah, so from WSU, some of you may have heard that we are opening July 12th. What that actually means is we will have some doors unlocked on July 12th. Some of us are coming back, some services are coming back face-to-face. So it's a little bit, it's dependent on individual departments on what coming back looks like to them. We are aiming for a fully robust face-to-face experience when students return. So that's where we're aiming for. If you have any questions about what's going on with us in terms of COVID and our vaccination mandate, please go to the WSU COVID website and actually see what's listed there. There's been some misinformation, some social media posts, that kind of stuff that's obviously incorrect. So whatever WSU has put on their website, that is what we're doing. I think Chief Dinkins talked a little bit about the state opening and what the governor is doing. We are following what the governor is doing. However, there are different guidelines for healthcare and higher education. So when you hear something on the news in terms of a reopening plan, it does not necessarily automatically translate to WSU. So we might look a little different and you might think we're doing something different. We're not. We're following the governor's mandates. So if you have those questions, please go to the website. You can ask me. I can direct you to it. Something else off of WSU, however, I spent all of Saturday at the Escure Ranch working with the Whitman County Sheriff's Department in search and rescue. So we will have a mounted search and rescue unit available for the Whitman County now. So that was really exciting. Spent about 5 days riding some country that I have rode my whole life, and that was some rough country. So we had 8 riders go through that program, so we will have search and rescue options available. Not a lot of people get lost on the Palouse, so we're not going to spend that much time on search and rescue. We're actually going to transition to large animal rescue. So when horses fall in old wells and cows get stuck in the places cows get stuck on, we're not having to use police or fire resources to do that. We would actually have a group of people trained that can come in to do that. We are also going to work with the local fire departments in Whitman County to work on large animal evacuation in fire. So we saw that a lot when Malden burnt. There was some needs for trucks and trailers and livestock evac. So we will be doing that. So kind of exciting additional resource that we can bring to the county.
That's exciting. Great, thank you. So for the Pullman School District parent, the only thing that I am reporting is I am very thankful that for fall, our kids will be going back to school 5 days a week. We are so glad to finish out this school year and put this remote learning behind us. So I'm looking forward to the fall.
Nothing here.
Nothing to report, but I would just thank the chief for all his service.
I have nothing to report either.
Nothing to report, except I actually think it's a little hard for me to hear folks, so I recommend moving the microphone a lot closer to your mouths. I don't know if it's the air conditioning or what have you, or just the acoustics in general here. So large silence from the at-large.
That is a good recommendation, though, for the microphones. Thank you. I appreciate that. So given that we have no public at the moment, we will skip over the public comment. Our next meeting is July 12th, which is our first class for the Citizens Academy test run-through, but that's from 6:30 to 9, so that will replace that. I will send that email out to Chief Jenkins, reviewing that, and then if you are interested, you can just send me that email and we'll get you all started. Are there any additional comments, questions, business anybody would like to bring up? Yes, Craig.
Thank you. Well, here we are in person, which is a really nice thing. But I guess I'm a little concerned. Who's here? I mean, it's only the committee members. And so when we had video opportunities, you know, folks could be at home with their kids, you know, or what have you. Maybe they had transportation or, you know, problems, so being at home, they don't have that, or if they have a mobility problem, you know, they were able to be present. I'd feel like that we're potentially less diverse being here in person. And so I don't know if there's a way for us to invite more folks to the table. So it's my only comment. Thank you.
So you are speaking about our public that is not present here today.
Public and also actually other committee members who aren't necessarily here today.
Yeah, and I don't know the committee members who are not here if they've already let Darby know of the reasons why they're not here. I don't have that information, but our public, I can understand your point. I don't know the feasibility of being able to do a hybrid in this building. We haven't looked at that, but we will be going forward being in person. But we can take a look at that and see if that's something that we could possibly do.
I would agree that ideally this would be hybrid. I understand if it simply can't happen, but ideally, you know, there's so many people in the last year and a half that have gotten used to being able to participate in things that they wouldn't have otherwise participated in. And so while the vast majority of us are, like, I'm certainly enthusiastic to never be on a Zoom again, there's some folks that are maybe a little sad just because they're going to miss out on some things. So I just think it's something to keep in mind, like put our brains together and say, hey, could we have a large computer screen in the corner with like anyone who wanted to participate from home?
Yes, we do have that big TV monitor. We will have to look at the infrastructure of what we can actually do in this room. That I don't know of, so we'll have to look at that into it. But I do, if we're able to do a hybrid, then I mean, it's a great idea. And I know more events and meetings will go that route if the ability is there. Yeah, we always record it and we always put it onto the YouTube channel, but we have seen, not just from here, but also at WSU, we've seen more people in attendance on Zoom meetings, which I'm with you. I don't really ever want to be on another Zoom meeting, but that's never going to happen because we have, you know, our university is spread across the state and globe. But with this meeting, we might look into hybrid if it's available. I just don't know what the capabilities are in this room.
I think one of the keys is being able to hear people. Well, first of all, the people online have to be able to hear us, and then we have to be able to hear them if they choose to speak, you know. And sometimes that can be a problem. Depends.
Yeah, I always think the technical issues, I mean, we have amazing IT folks. We know that we do. So it's really about, creating a more inclusive environment. So even if they're just there, listening, it's the fact is that we've opened up a space for them. And so that inclusivity is critical. And we've seen that just over our Zoom sessions, right? Granted, it's never a packed house. These, as long as I've been here, these have never been packed. But we have had, it seems like more people that were just there listening. And if anything, that's what we need, is create a space for them to listen. So I would encourage us to be able to explore it, and it seems like we might very well in this environment.
That's a good recommendation.
True, and I guess the other aspect of that is if you were to moderate things so that people would actually type their comments, then you just need one person who's keeping track of that, I guess. And then it's sort of just a matter of being live and inviting other people to join us. So,
Any other comments? We will look into that. Any other comments or questions?
So I have it's a random question, honestly. But today I found out that the Whitman County Fair might very well go forward. So now I'm really curious if we're going to have the Leno Festival this year.
Yeah, no, but yeah,
All right.
that's a no, definitely
See,
no.
that's all I needed. Thank you. So the answer is no.
Any other questions? All right, so that adjourns our meeting. We will see you on July 12th if you're able to join us from the 6:30 to 9. And I will send that email out, so you'll receive that later this week. Thank you, everybody, and welcome again, Carol. Good night.